Austin,
Here.
Hutton,
Here.
Pearsall,
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Leahy
Here.
and Mendoza.
Here. I have a quorum. Motion for the minutes, motion by Boston to approve open meeting minutes from July 19th, 31, and August 7th, and to approve closed session, closed meeting minutes from July 19th and August 7th, 2023. Do I have a second?
I have a question first. Will the closed session minutes that have been changed to open be available for recording?
They're in the minutes.
The recording, will that be available?
I don't know. We can check with the attorney.
Okay.
Only that portion that was approved by the attorney will be available, so we'd have to find a way to edit that. I doubt that'll be the case, but we can go ahead.
I just think it needs to be public.
You certainly have that right to
You're
have that.
requesting the entire meeting be public?
No, just the part that was made.
You reviewed
Public.
it and you.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll ask him again. We'll incur more charges.
Yep.
Yeah, it's already been about $500.
Plus, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Wade.
Austin,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
I'll abstain.
Taylor. Yes.
Motion carries. I have no presentation. Maintenance, Dan?
As you may be aware or may not be aware, we had a surprise inspection by the EPA about the sewer plant on Monday. It did not go very well. I mean, we communicated with them, Jerry and I, that we are working on some of the problem, all the problem. They're not gonna be fixed overnight.
They didn't happen overnight.
He was very, they both were very understanding, took a lot of notes. Like I said, we're working on it as much as we can, as fast as we can. That was my take on it. What was your take on it, Jerry? Was it just kind of, as long as we're working on it, they're. I
Well,
think-
I'm assuming we'll get some sort of written violation.
Yes, yeah, we are definitely gonna be violated, there's no doubt.
What happened here? What happened?
The EPA got a complaint of, they didn't know what was going in the river.
Blacks.
They said it was black sludge or whatever was going out the outflow from the sewer.
And our effluent to the river has to be liquid, is that right?
Just be clear, it's gotta be good. Actually, they claim you can drink it.
Well,
I mean, that's what they claim, but I've yet seen anybody
the
do
people
it.
that claim it haven't drunk it.
Yeah, so,
Drink.
the day of inspection, it looked clear coming out.
So they got a complaint, you said, from someone?
Yes.
Okay.
So if it was clear when they got here, I guess, do they have like pictures or, I mean, how?
No,
So they just had somebody tell you that it was black?
they got, that was their complaint.
Okay.
They didn't see it that way. I mean, they have to investigate.
Right.
Okay.
And there are problems at the sewer plant.
Okay.
And when they knocked on our door and wanted to take samples up front, so they were going down the river to take samples.
And, you know, we are gonna get dinged,
Yeah.
but we are going to work on those things really hard, and we have been.
Do we have a timeline?
So-
Sorry.
We, no idea,
Okay.
Because some of this stuff, I mean, they had talked a little bit about how out of date these plants are, that they're in tough shape. Jerry had talked with them, and when the conversation that I got out of it was, these plants should have never been like this to begin with, other than wishful thinking of
They're
this
too large.
this municipality would grow
Right.
a lot more. But, I mean, they still should work the way they were designed to work.
Sure, so they weren't able to see any effluent going out that was dark, but they were able to spot things
They
that
pulled the grab samples.
Yeah.
they did. And that was,
They gotta take it back to Springfield. to
we
test.
haven't heard anything.
No.
Okay. But they did identify things that are outdated or in need of significant
Yes.
repair or.
And one of them is the chlorine building that
Right.
you guys were all aware of, and I'm working on that. There was other issues that were really more important than chlorinating the water. I mean, it's supposed to be, and that might fall on me, I don't know. But I'll fall on that sword because there's other things that's gotta be done too. And with a two-man crew, and I'm not using that for an excuse under no circumstances, but, you know, it's 5 years or 6 years or 7 years that it's not been dealt with, some of that stuff. And it's really hard to get things back, and, you know, I've been here 2 weeks.
Did you say that some of those lines, water lines in the chlorine room were frozen or burst
Yeah.
from being froze? So this
Yeah.
happened back in the winter.
Yeah, or
It's not
a
something
year,
we
or
just-
even a year ago. I don't.
So we don't even know when the last time that's worked?
Yes, I don't have any idea when the last time was.
There's no chart or anything down there that tells you what you're sending out, there's no graph or anything?
No
We don't
graph.
have anything like that?
No graph. There are computer reports that whoever's doing the sampling, and I'm not mentioning anybody's name, I have no idea who did it, because it wasn't me. But on those reports, it's saying there's chlorine on the output. But there wasn't.
It needs to be chlorinated May 1st to October 31st.
Correct.
And that's swimming season, essentially, when people will be more likely to be in the rivers.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to coordinate year round.
What was happening before when they were pumping out the side? Do you know that one?
I don't
They had
know.
big pumps going in there and just pumping it over the bank towards Fourth Avenue.
When was this, man?
Within the past, well, probably last year, a couple times.
The water's high.
That I
Then a
can't
couple
answer.
times when it wasn't high, they've had them going too, but I never knew what the problem was.
If there's stuff
Any-
pumped out.
Is it coming out of that manhole that's on your side of the?
No,
No, it's an actual pump that they.
No.
put-
Yeah, oh, but it was out of that manhole that's at the top of the fence, on the fence by your
That I
property?
don't know.
Because that's where the good water comes out of the sewer plant. It goes into a manhole there, then it drops down and it gets chlorinated. As it drops down, it gets chlorinated, and then it goes out into that pipe and goes to the river.
this
So
was,
any
This was just
water,
coming out on Fourth Avenue, it wasn't
this
going
was
in
a pump
anywhere.
right inside the fence with a blue
yeah, the
hose.
The
just
orange
pumping
pump.
it out on the ground.
If they were pumping it out of that, I mean, I'm speculating, but if they were pumping it out of that manhole that's along that fence facing your property, that's all clear water.
It was inside the sewer plant.
Yes, inside the fence,
Mhm.
right inside the fence, between the
It
fence,
wasn't clear coming out.
well, there was a problem.
Okay,
I mean,
that's what I,
but
that's
it
what I
was,
figured.
that,
Things are
there's a
coming to light.
manhole right there by that gate, that little walk gate where the fence makes that jog. There's a manhole right there. And that's where the clear, good water from the sewer plant goes in and gets chlorinated to go to the river.
Okay.
If they were pumping out of there and it was dark water, gray water, there was a problem. I mean, that's a problem.
Okay.
Did you read that assessment that was
they printed out for you, did that coincide with anything that we know is, that we got dinged on? I mean, because they were there looking at it, someone was telling us what's wrong.
I didn't see this.
You didn't, okay, well, do you have a mailbox here?
Yes.
Is that this? Yes. The Illinois thing?
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know, I asked Chris, do you?
Oh, I got one of these, I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
Yes, I did, if that's the assessment you were talking about, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, I got one of those.
Okay,
So do we have any ballpark numbers at all? Anything, a shot in the dark? I mean, what kind of numbers are we talking? You say we might need to spend some money on? No idea?
No idea.
Because
I
I
mean-
mean, you were around in 14 when we put, well, we at least got a $300,000 loan for the sewer, right? Were you around then?
In what year?
14?
Yes.
So was that, at
That
that
was to
time?
rebuild the one plant.
That was to rebuild one plant?
One plant.
Like the clarifier or the
The
entire?
whole, the entire,
Okay. And that was, so that was state-of-the-art stuff then in 14?
well, no, it was just rebuilding what was there.
It was just rebuilding what was
Yes.
there for 300, and then we paid more than that? Do you remember? Does anybody know?
I'm thinking, yes, we
I
did.
think we did, I was on board then, it was basically all.
Yeah, they put new steel, they cut steel out, we drained the complete tank, there was nothing in it. And we had to, clean the grit, it's just
Yeah.
stuff, but we had to clean all the grit out, had to have back trucks in there, come in and do all that. And then we had a company come in and look at what needed to be done. And then Roger Johnson,
Welding?
yes, he did a lot of the work, cutting out sides,
Got you.
in the insides, because there's 3 or 4 pieces, I can't remember, but you know, they all got steel side. The seal was thin, so he had to cut out whatever was thin,
Replace it?
yeah, and replace it. I mean, it was very time consuming,
But
but
it wasn't,
it wasn't, not like it was gonna make it new.
it was a Band-Aid, is that what you're saying?
No, it wasn't a Band-Aid, it was actually to make the
more
plant.
expensive.
But I mean, nothing new, none of the pumps or none of that stuff was new, it was all, we used everything that was there before, it was just fabricating and,
A lot of labor charges.
yep,
I was just curious.
yeah. And I mean, I had no idea what the cost was, I mean, that's,
It was more, ended up, Steve Herring, had a plan for us to build a new one for 3 to 4 million because of the condition that was in. And he ran everything, here's your numbers, here's 1% money, here's what it'll cost you bills, it wasn't much. And the board at the time, I was for it, nobody else was. So they opted for this well thing. The 3 to 4 million would probably be 6 to 7 now.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's a whole,
But he said we would have 1% money and the majority of that would be forgiven. And they still didn't want to do it.
so that's, you know, as far as the sewer plant, it's just gonna be time. And some things are gonna be put on the back burner in the rest of the town because of the time that's gonna be spent down there with me part-time and Daryl full-time.
thank you.
You know, it's just gonna be,
So we can find someone.
yeah. No, you know, like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses, because there is no excuse the way that plant looks. There is no excuse, I don't care who was running it, there's no excuse for that way that was left.
What about the sludge? Hauling it?
Oh, way up, I'll bring that up here in a minute, let's get through this part.
All right, John, you're a guest here, you're not part of this board. You can take a seat out there, or you can sit there and stay quiet. This is the portion of the board meeting where we talk, okay?
So,
Whatever you say, Gary.
Thank you. Do you think it should be different? I'll ask you that right
Like I
now.
said, whatever you say, Jerry, you're the,
What do you think it should be different? You're saying
that's
that
an
Stop.
insight.
in a manner that seems condescending to me. This is the portion of the board meeting where we talk. You're a guest here. You can sit out there or you can sit there, but if you're gonna sit there.
If you have a problem
I
with
heard
us,
it
just
first
say it, Jerry. This is just nonsense.
I have a problem
It's
with
not-
someone taking up my time during the
But
board
he's trying
meeting.
to help with what happened in the past to let you know.
He's asking questions about things that weren't on topic at this point. He's asking about sludge. I let him make his comments about,
Okay, then
His-
fine, let's move forward.
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad that I have your approval now.
Well, I'm glad you do too.
Go ahead, Danny.
So do we, have any other questions about the sewer plant that you need to ask?
About the sewer plant?
About the sewer, just the sewer plant, let's stay right with the sewer plant right now.
The EPA, did they give you a time limit when you have to have?
We have not got the findings yet.
Okay.
I mean,
So they'll be
we
back?
know- Yeah, well,
They have a request for records too.
Yes.
So,
yes, and they want, there's all kinds of stuff that they have to go through before they'll bring any kind of results back to us. We already know what some of the problems are, and we told them we were gonna address them as fast as we could.
All we can do. So
I mean, so if they find us, not find, if they find that there's a problem with, say, the splitter box, because was horrible, full of crap, tomatoes, everything else. And that was a problem. I took care of that today. They're both cleaned out, nothing's in them. So if you get dinged on that, that's a check we can take off when we get the list of
Is
problems.
that something that should have been done all along?
I can't say for the former employee, when I was there and Nate Schroeder was there and Dwayne was there, those splitter boxes were cleaned out every week. So it didn't get a foot, 2 foot thick.
And this splitter box dating, I'm sorry, is this what sends it to both of the clarifiers?
Yeah, it comes in from the lift station across the street
Yeah, yeah.
into those 3 tanks that are sitting outside, and they equalize.
Okay.
And when they get to a certain point, the floats kick the motor, the pump on, and pumps it into the splitter box. The splitter box then sends equal amount to
Distributes
both
it
plants.
evenly, yeah.
So you don't overload one plant versus the other.
Okay.
So those splitter boxes are probably 10 foot tall, probably.
Holy cow.
You know, so they're always full, I mean, because it's, keep it from freezing in the wintertime. But there was this much.
Sludge in there?
No, do you want me to tell you what's in there?
No.
No.
Okay.
We'll call.
Did you have like a hazmat suit on or something?
No. Right here.
Well, I also asked the EPA that when they stopped over and about the flooding and when it's full and where it goes to then. And it just goes everywhere. About those.
The splitter boxes? Well, those shouldn't overflow. They, where, that manhole I was talking about earlier, if, they got sandbags around it, you see those sandbags? Up? Okay, that's where the manhole is, that's where the clear water goes in. And when the river backs up to the manhole that's out in the street, well, there's not enough pressure to force that water into the river. So that's when sometimes before the river gets up there and you see water bubbling out of the manhole, that's what it's from. Because it doesn't have enough pressure to push the water to the river. The river's forcing it, so it'll find its easiest way out. And when that manhole gets covered up, it's still coming out of there, you just don't see it. But then it will back up all
Does
the way.
that tube that goes to the river get cleaned out?
Because there's so much flow there, Pam, it shouldn't need to be cleaned up. I mean, it's not like it ever, you know, the water's never stagnant in that tube. So it should be constant flow. But then at the top, up there where they put the sandbags, is because of the no pressure. I mean, it's just a flowing water, it'll back up and come out of that manhole, which is clean water.
Right, it's always.
So it just goes down over the hill. It's gonna go to the river anyhow, and that's where it's going, even in high water. Theoretically. Not saying that it was all clean water. You may have seen dirty water coming out of there. But I'm just saying, that's the way it's supposed to operate.
Okay.
And that water's still chlorinated if it's after April 1st. It might be heavy chlorine because it's sitting there a bit. So,
Okay.
and you asked about, lost my train of thought, John.
Sludge.
Oh,
You
this.
just talked about.
I did, go out and talk to Bernie Gabriel today. That's his farm that we put both liquid and paste on. Manure spreader stuff. And it just so happens that he just cut his hay. So that's the only time that we could land apply it, is after they're done, just freshly cut. So starting Monday, I haven't even talked to Daryl. Daryl took half a day off. Starting Monday, he's gonna do all of it.
Well, that's what happened last year, the Fulton was doing it, and then it didn't work out with the farmer, so then it didn't get done.
Right.
But they were going to do it both.
But they should have kept up on it. You know,
Right.
like I said, I'm not blaming nobody, I'm just telling you. But Monday, Daryl, or somebody, that was another thing I was gonna ask. I've had a volunteer that would help. I mean, of course, you got paid, but I mean, he'd come and volunteer, that he would be more than willing to do such things. If you wanted to. He has done it before as a city employee. I'll throw his name out there, Bob Short.
Okay. He used to do it a lot, I've
Yes,
seen him haul a lot.
he's
Oh,
very,
okay.
very efficient, good on equipment. There's not a bad thing I can say about it. Normally you can get 3 to 4 loads an hour out of there if you stay on. I mean, there's no dragging your feet. It's not a good job. I mean, it's not a good job. Could be a dirty job if you unhook the hose too early or, so.
Okay.
I don't know, that's one of the things that's gotta get done. Those drying beds have gotta be cleaned out. That's labor intensive. So, I mean, I know he can't do that. If you know somebody that's young and dumb, 'cause that's what it's gonna take. Or Dan says what they do on Fulton in their drying beds is they clean out the middle like what we would do, and then the rest of it's all hand shoveled. But what they do up there, they rent a mini X and scrape it into the bucket of the tractor. We never have done that. We've always had the summer help do with shovels when they weren't mowing. But
Did we get them hepatitis shots or anything when we did that? I think by law we had to.
no, we never have.
I believe by law we had to.
I'm just, you may be correct. I had not.
If you expose them to something like that, you gotta provide them protection, is my understanding.
Well, you have the history of that, Jerry.
Anyway, that's neither here nor
Yeah,
there.
that's.
Not my current hat.
No.
So, I guess, I need to get the drain beds cleaned out. Would anybody have a problem with just, if we needed to go get a mini X just to do it, or do you want me to come back to the board with it, or?
I don't even know what you're saying, a mini, a what?
A mini X, not a skid loader, a mini X, mini excavator.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, the cute little ones.
Yes.
Cute.
Yeah.
And Dan just told me that again today, that's what they do, they go, instead of buying something like that, you just go right into
Yeah,
it, it's
give
much
them a
more
price.
efficient.
It's like a kid's toy.
So And I mean, if the time comes and
Gotta have.
we're not in the middle of board time, is it
If
something
you can give
that?
me power to act, and then I'll approve it, but I'd like to see a price on it.
Okay.
before-
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna just.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I motion.
nor-
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I think that probably,
It's not on the agenda.
Because I don't think, we're not gonna find nobody good other shovel.
no.
I mean, I would, but I'd last about 3 minutes and then take
No.
a 20-minute break. 3 more minutes, that's what I'm gonna say. Yeah. So,
You can't.
Can
I do this or not?
No, let's
Okay.
let's hold off. Yeah,
Okay,
it's not on the agenda, I'm not gonna.
okay.
that is, it bakes the samples. They sample sludge.
Have you moved on to the oven, is that what you're talking about now?
She asked about the oven.
Is this something that's pertinent right now that needs to be, or are we okay?
I don't feel it does. What's broke on it is on the top of that oven is a thermometer. And it was probably that tall with a glass over it. All right. It never really worked when I was here. We always had an oven thermometer in there because the thermostats are down at the bottom. You set it to the temperature that you need it to be, and you open up the door, and if it's that temperature, it's working fine.
So we can
If it-
get another thermometer and it's good for now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my personal opinion.
Is this
That's
a,
what Dan said, Dan
is this
Clark.
gas, electric, what is it?
It's electric.
Electric, a little bitty thing?
Yeah, it's like a mini fridge.
Shake oven?
It's just like a mini fridge.
The thermometer is only to verify the temperature.
Yes, that's all the thermometer does.
Yeah.
It's got to be 101 degrees or
And
something.
they just do this periodically, whenever they're gonna do some sampling?
When they do their
Fire this
samples,
up
when they do their weekly sample, then they put them in the oven for 2 days.
For 2 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you take it back out, and then you do you read it, and then you put it in the oven, you put it under a microscope, and you read, or you count how many,
Yeah,
like at a dime size, how many pieces of bacteria is there. You put it in the oven, you bake it, pull it back out, and then you reread it.
okay,
And that's how they,
got you.
I never took care of the sewer plant when I worked here. Nate Shorter took care of the sewer plant, I took care of the water plant. That's just
Good
the
to
way it
know,
goes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of this stuff I'm learning on the fly in the last 2 weeks. I mean, I knew how to do the tests and stuff when Nate was gone, but the weekly tests I never did, because he'd do them like a Monday before he took off, and then the next Monday he'd do them again. So, but the daily tests, that was checking for chlorines and all that good stuff, so.
So do we need to make a motion by a thermostat?
It's just an oven thermometer,
Yeah.
thermostat, or not thermostat, thermometer. Have you ever checked your?
So we don't need it?
A meat thermometer.
No, I sent him over to Ace Hardware and got one. You're looking at what, $20?
Okay, that's fine, it
Yeah.
said discuss or take action, and I wanted
Yeah,
to take
no,
action if we
Yeah.
needed to. so.
No, I
Yeah.
said, just go get another thermometer at
Okay.
Ace Hardware. Just go get it.
Then, good.
That way it's done and over with, and you're not spending $1,000 on something that, down the road, you may need it, but right now, as long as it's working and you can control it with the thermostat dials, no problem. The water plant, we had a plumber come up there, the back wash pipe, it's a 4-inch pipe going from one sewer manhole to the other, was plugged. And we manually pumped it out into the storm sewer last week, so he could backwash. Well, it still was plugged, so Daryl called Alvarado, and they come out, and they said it was just full of crap, just dirt and whatever. It's not, as far as I know, it's never been cleaned, so it's not a bad thing. But I mean, that's not unusual, not to be clean. I mean, it's not like, you wouldn't know it until it starts backing up, and that's what it was doing in the water plant. Let's see. Well, I mean, well, the chemicals, I don't know, do you guys want me to come here every time we need
Yeah,
chemicals?
we
I mean,
have.
We have never-
Before we just bought whatever was needed.
We're cost of doing business, there's money
Yes.
put in there, but I don't know that that necessarily is right. You know, I do not know that. That's how we kind of inherited it, the way you're
But
saying. They
that's
just
the
bought
way,
it.
I mean, it's just, like you said, that's
Cost
part
of
of.
doing business.
We don't approve them buying printing paper, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's not a lot different.
This was an exceptionally big purchase.
Was it?
Because some
The
of it was
chemicals, I mean,
outdated.
I mean, we had to get them, they're out of date, they were expired, there's no way we could use them and claim that we did an accurate test. They may have been fine, but
I understand.
they are out.
Well, we didn't want to take a chance. I mean,
We're already in trouble.
How much did, well, we had, I don't know, like 9 and 4,000 or something, or whatever. I mean, did we exceed that?
I don't know right off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know what the cost of it is. That's,
well, then we couldn't approve it. So,
well,
I mean, it doesn't.
We gotta have.
in all those years, that Nate was here, he never asked the board for that. I mean, it's
I don't know
just-
who put this on
it's
here,
just-
so.
It
Well,
was directed by, whoever sent it to me, I believe, it was
That's it.
Daryl that put it
Yeah.
on there.
Well,
It
sure.
was an
you guys got
purchase.
Daryl, you guys got Daryl a gun shop about spending money.
I'm sorry?
You as a board have Daryl gun shy about spending money. I mean, I understand small stuff, but this chemical stuff, I mean, well, we have to have
We've
it.
never
Hey, as long as-
indicated we didn't want to buy any chemicals.
No, right, but I'm just saying, so he gets nervous and puts all this, wants
I
to.
understand. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, right, and that's what I'm saying. He's gun shy and this is just,
I'd rather have.
Yeah, I'd rather have a little gun shy
Yeah, no
than err
kidding.
the
well,
other.
I mean, but normal, routine, everyday stuff is
But
there.
this,
It's like-
but this, as I'm understanding, wasn't routine, it was additional, added on than what we
A
normally.
larger order.
Hopefully, we're not gonna be spending this much on chemicals every year or every routine.
Every time we order.
Right.
Right, no, that's correct.
I think the point.
Exception.
Yeah, we had $4,000 put in the sewer budget and $9,000 for chemicals put in water.
I don't think we exceeded those, but I don't know off the top of my head.
What?
Well, I mean, we did, we needed it, so. All right.
Did you want to touch on this funding for water sewer certificates? That must have been a Darrell thing as well.
That was carried over from the last meeting, it was discussed, and, Stan said you would talk to or get in touch with someone in Rockford,
Yeah.
EPA, for him to help him with getting that. And that
Yeah.
was Just, it was gonna be a funding issue for us again, so we put it on the agenda.
Yeah, and that, what I meant by that was that the board has to approve that before he can go.
Exactly,
Yes,
and that's what I put it on.
That's why
yeah, yeah. So, and I haven't talked to the EPA, that's a different EPA than the EPA that was down here the other day.
Sure.
They're all EPA, but one's water side, one's sewer side. They only test once a month, so, and there's, it's pretty easy to get into it, but he could schedule it. I think he has to do the scheduling, because his social security number and all that stuff's gotta be validated.
So it's
And
not,
I don't
it's
want,
not done, okay.
I don't
Yeah,
want
that's
his
really all
social
we need
security
to
number.
know.
That's all that matters, all costs.
But I think he has to do it personally to call up there.
Thank you.
Is that it, Dan?
Yeah, well, yeah. So, one more thing. I know you guys love me.
Oh, we're starting to.
I was just gonna say, depends.
I got an anonymous letter in the mail Monday, or
I see
Saturday.
it, but I'll take one anyway.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't know what it's about, but I don't know why it was sent to me. Let's put it that way. But,
Thank you.
Did, I don't know if it's a complaint, it's an email, sent by Pam to the board.
August 27,
Thank you.
27.
Put it
What was the
down.
return address? Did you have a return address? in there?
A friend.
A friend. I guess,
This goes hand in hand with what we said. This is ridiculous. Whoever sent this is just trying to stir the pot.
and that's my point exactly. I mean, if somebody wants to stir the pot, it had to be somebody from the board. It's an email, it's a village email.
Well, but keep in mind, there's been a lot of village emails turned over to the public through the FOIA Act.
Well,
Is this one of them?
Well, it's-
Oh, they requested,
They should have been.
someone requested all emails.
All emails.
so, but here's the envelope. It was made out to Mary and myself, and it's from a friend. Well,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm trying to get along with everybody, and it's just, it hurts
I think
Mary,
we
and
all are.
it hurts me, that somebody wants to bring up something from 4 years ago.
Well,
I got the letter, I went directly to the source, went right down to Pam's house. She did not remember sending the email.
Doesn't matter, it's in the past anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But,
I
So,
looked
you
it
know,
up and then I
she,
said I did send an
and
email.
she come back,
you did
2 days,
send
I did
she
send it.
did send it. There was some animosity between us, and at that time, whether she thought she was getting even or whatever, it makes no difference. I hold no hard feelings to anybody if they feel that way. I don't care who you are, whether it's animosity or you just, but let's just try to get along.
Well,
You know, and this,
trust me, I get it.
I'm getting,
this is getting Mary all worked up.
absolutely it is, I'm sure.
You know, I can take it. This is, you know, I'm with you people trying to make this a better place. But why drag her into it is way beyond. I'm not dragging anybody else's spouse or anything else into this. This is getting to be ridiculous that people want to do this.
What a cowardly thing to do.
I agree.
And not say who sent it.
Yes,
There's no return address or
No.
anything, so that's a
Where's
coward.
the postmark?
Was it postmarked or just put in your mailbox?
no, it was mailed to me.
Oh.
It says Quad Cities, but that,
All
not
our
all
stuff
the
goes
others
to
make
Quad
a
Cities.
difference.
It goes in the Dropbox after, whenever she closes.
So, you know what, and I'm saying this for the last time, if anybody here has a problem with me or what I'm doing, just tell me, we're all adults. We can talk and disagree, Jerry knows very well that him and I can disagree on a lot of things and still walk out of here being normal friends.
The
that's the way I want-
village should be the main goal,
Yes,
so.
I mean, just because we disagree does not mean that we have to not like each other and do childish stuff like this.
Agreed.
I disagree with Danny on lots of things, but
Yeah.
we needed someone, he's the first person I turned to.
And he stepped up.
And
Yeah, and I'm very appreciative for his knowledge.
So, you know what, so
Somewhere else.
I don't know if somebody was trying to pin me and Pam against each other, or me and whoever, it makes no difference. We just need this stuff to stop.
That's going on across the community.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
by
right.
so many people, and it is the reason for my outburst at a meeting here a few weeks back, and I'm sure Pam wants that publicized. And it was never intended to be done in closed session. It was intended to be addressed in open session.
I will just tell you, you will never talk to me like that again. I'm
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I can talk to you any damn way I
No,
want
you
to.
can't.
I just
That
wanted
is
to
what
know
very
that we-
inappropriate.
I know, we all.
What is inappropriate?
Everybody cut it now.
All right, number one, chief, you are not in charge of this meeting, I am, and I am having a discussion.
Presiding officer.
Please, allow me to
Sir.
finish my
Oh,
talk.
sir, you should lead by example and maintain order.
I am leading by example. I am calling the people out. When I came to this board over a year and a half ago, or close to a year and a half ago, that's the first thing I said when I came in this room. I said, I'm tired of this Facebook crap. And it is still going on today, a year and a quarter later. And it's promoted by people who just want to keep poking the bear. And you poked me too many times. Now, if you want me to leave, I will leave.
You have permission to get on me about Facebook, but you were out of line when you told me I have done nothing for
You
this
don't
town.
do very much,
Okay.
ma'am, and all
How
you
do
have
you
to
say
do,
that?
all you have to do is look at the minutes and the agenda.
What do you want me to do?
Well,
Investigate things. You know what I'm doing now? Tomorrow morning, I have a meeting with
Police department, I
electric
was on the
service on
police
Clinton
department a lot.
because no one has ever followed up with them. Nate
That
never
is not
followed.
my job.
You are on parks. Is
That is not my job to follow up with them. That is
what is your
the
job?
maintenance
Explain
job.
to me what the job.
I am not
of
their
the-
boss.
Huh?
I am not their boss. They are to look into these things.
Then who does this stuff? We don't have an administrator.
The
We
maintenance people are
selectively
looking
here are,
at this.
okay, it's not my job to go locate graves. I located 2 in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
You're correct. You are
Well,
correct.
who's gonna do it if I don't? Are you gonna do it, Pam?
I am not. I will
Absolutely
absolutely
not, because you won't do a
100%.
damn thing to help this community other than pat you. You
Would
and
you like to
Julie
say
pat
something
yourself
how much
on the
I've
back
done?
about.
You better shut up.
No,
You can-
no,
you
no,
can
no,
leave.
that's, no, you need to
my
shut up.
minutes.
You wanna go outside?
No,
Let's
no,
do it.
no,
Is that how you
that's-
solve things,
hold on a
Mr.
second.
Pearson?
I'd like to interject something for a moment, please.
Thank you.
You know, I've heard time and time again how we don't work together as a board. Please let me finish that.
Okay,
You
when
have
you're
your
done,
time.
I have one
Please.
thing for you.
I've heard that several times, that we don't work together, and we need to, and I have agreed with that. Now, I'd like to throw something out there. For 3 months in a row, we tried to get this gazebo stained, because it hadn't been done since it was built. It needed done because it was weathering severely. It needed done. First month we tried to do it, we got a lot of pushback, we got volunteers, that came from you. Okay, we'll wait 30 days. 30 days later, has anything been done? No, we need some more time. 30 days more, we're gonna get it done. We took a vote, everybody voted to have that gazebo stained except for you, you voted no. Then I then come to find out that you sent a letter to the person that did it after it was done, thanking him for doing it, saying how good it looked. Did you share that with any of us? No.
Did I need to?
Well, are we working, you're the only one that voted no, and then you thank them for it?
Because I was going to do it and save the money, Floyd.
We gave you 3 months, Pam.
It wasn't me. They had to go
Who's
through
they? Who's they?
the maintenance. They had to go through and power wash it. And that is what
But it
I
was right
was
for you
waiting
to
for.
thank them and not include us in that letter. Is that right?
I don't.
There's a letter in the file that you had Sony type, apparently, and send to them, and that's not right. That's what I'm trying to get at. You can't have it both ways. Either we're gonna work together or we're not. And that's not working
You're way out
together.
of line on that one. I don't even know where that's even coming from.
Where that letter came from?
But I will tell you on the other one, you went on the last meeting chastising me
I didn't
about
talk
a
about my
comment.
name.
Well, I knew who you meant. And I would love to sit down with that gentleman, because that conversation took place right here in this office. And I would love to sit down with
What
you and
conversation?
him.
We already talked.
Let's stop this conversation now.
But it's not going to get any better, Jerry, unless we have
Unless
this
the
out.
Facebook,
And I was
you
letting
can
them have it
shut
out, but
Facebook
we're
off.
gaining no ground here.
No.
The
Right.
fact is that people in this community are constantly pushing and pushing and pushing for no reason other than to pat themselves on the back to gain their own glory. And violence, if that's your solution, John, then go screw yourself, all right? I mean, what kind of community do we have?
I don't get it.
This is being broadcast to the world.
Yeah, aren't we proud of this?
Yeah. You know, the reason I'm here in the
Teresa,
first
how do we
place
get
is
here?
Because you let us
Hush,
down.
just let me
How did
finish
we
this
get
thought here, please. The reason I'm here in the first place is because of this shit. Now, what are we gonna do to fix it? I have tried. I've worked with you, I have worked with Mr. Boston, I've worked with everybody on this board. I have tried to do everything. And Mr. Herman here suggests I lead by example. That's exactly what I've been doing. I have been doing everything in this community that gets dropped by everybody else. And I am still talking. I will give you a chance when I am done.
Do you have to laugh?
Yeah.
Okay,
It
can I?
is, it is comical.
It is, it's.
Because there are people out there on Facebook laying on their couch
Loving
laughing
it,
their fucking
loving
asses
it,
off.
loving
Yeah.
it. The same that come to watch a board member get beat
And
up.
move on to office.
Do we not need to address the elephant in the room? Because, you know, I've read a Facebook post from a trustee here who said, every time we come in here, there's tension in the room. Am I correct? Yes. So, you know what? I want to address the tension in the room. Let's get it over with. Let's stop this crap. Let's work together. There's no more one up, I do this, you do that. We need to work together. Before anything ever gets done, it needs to be discussed in this boardroom. And the stuff on Facebook is not gaining anybody any traction. I guarantee you that.
You're right, but it's hard for me when somebody goes after me or my family not to respond.
Well, then you
How do I
have,
do
If
it?
you're
what
an
did
adult-
Jesus say? Turn the other cheek,
Yeah.
man. Jesus.
And you
We're all
also said
adults,
stand up
we
for
need to
yourself.
I don't have Facebook for that very reason, but I still have to hear about it, not from her, but from people in the community.
Well, I get stuff sent to me daily,
Same here.
so.
And this is all BS. We have a community to run. We have a sewer plant that's in decrepit condition,
Yeah.
and we let it get that way.
Yep, that's.
Not me, not him, not you, all of us let it get that
You're
way.
100% correct.
And we're spending more time arguing about fucking Facebook shit and other things than paying attention to what's the matter with this community and what we can actually do as trustees, not as some individual running around planting fucking flowers. Jesus, we have to work together. We are the administrators of this community. We don't have a full-time administrator. If we're not doing the work, it's not gonna get done. We can't expect the 2 maintenance employees that we have to do all these things, to run around and get bids on the ball field and do all these other things and to follow up with them. To this date, I still have, even though we've given a $20,000 or $21,000 motion to have Clinton Electric Service do the work up there, we have yet to see any paperwork on that bid. And I am still asking him for it as of tomorrow.
And he was supposed to talk to him, and the last I talked to Daryl, which I put in a work order.
That, because I'm doing that work order, because Daryl has water and sewer and other issues.
This is prior to
So,
this.
no,
When
no,
it was
no,
to
I have
have
the work order.
apparatus.
Would you like to see it? I intercepted the work order